New Arcline is a narrative-driven CRPG, set in a world divided between magic and technology. Read on to learn everything we know, our review of the demo, and more. Everything we know about New Arcline. New Arcline is set in a world where magic once reigned supreme. Sorcerers, with their unbridled power, ruled over all, shaping the world according to their whims. Humans, powerless and insignificant, lived in the shadows, struggling to survive in a realm dictated by arcane forces. This era of chaos saw the rise of an unlikely hero, someone who challenged the dominance of magic and sought to restore balance to the world. This hero's actions paved the way for the advent of technology. As innovation surged, technology began to overshadow magic. The once mighty sorcerers found themselves on the fringes of society. Their power and influence diminished. Magic didn't disappear, but it became a source of fear and prejudice. New Arcline gameplay. The gameplay in New Arcline is a blend of classic CRPG mechanics with modern innovations, focusing heavily on player choice and customization. At its core, it's a choice-driven experience, where your decisions not only affect the story, but also shape the world and your character's journey. The game places significant emphasis on moral dilemmas, encouraging players to consider the consequences of their actions. Movement is point and click, a staple of the genre, allowing for smooth navigation through the game's richly detailed environments. Exploration plays a key role with interactive objects scattered throughout the world. Skill checks come into play frequently, influencing how you interact with NPCs, solve problems, and uncover hidden paths. New Arcline release date. New Arcline released in early access on November 26, 2024 for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series XS and PC via Steam, Epic and GOG. New Arcline review. Early access. A glimpse of potential. From the moment I launched New Arcline, I was intrigued by its character creation system. It's always a treat when a CRPG gives you the tools to craft character with depth, and while I appreciated the options on offer, they felt limited even for an early access title. Choosing between the Diesel Engineer and Voodoo Shaman gave me two distinct paths to explore. I went with the Voodoo Shaman because it aligned more with my playstyle, especially when paired with the Renegade Cultist trait that boosted my voodoo magic skills. This setup added a nice layer of personality to my character. However, after spending some time customizing skill and stat points, I couldn't help but feel the game was holding back. The system gave me a taste of the potential it had to offer, but left me wanting more. Two classes and a handful of traits didn't feel like enough, especially when the game itself leans heavily on its magic versus technology theme. I expect the full release will include more variety, but even for an early access, the limitations were a letdown. It was hard not to imagine what other creative builds could be on the horizon. Magic versus technology. The duality of New Arcline's setting is one of its most compelling aspects. The world is steeped in conflict, with magic users facing prejudice in a society dominated by industrial technology. This tension creates a fascinating backdrop for exploration and storytelling. My character, an elf magic user, entered the city with a sense of unease as border patrols warned me against using magic. It was an excellent setup that hinted at larger stakes to come. Unfortunately, that tension quickly dissipated. Despite the warnings, I was able to openly cast spells without facing any consequences. This lack of follow-through undermined the initial premise and made the world feel less immersive. It's a missed opportunity to explore the societal divide in more meaningful ways, especially since it's such a central theme. The city itself is visually stunning with industrial grit. The level of detail in the architecture and atmosphere is impressive, creating a strong sense of place. However, the world feels static, more like a stage than a living, breathing environment. NPCs and their routines are largely unremarkable, and the streets lack the vibrancy that makes other CRPGs feel alive. Still, the narrative potential is there. The societal divide between magic and technology offers endless possibilities for meaningful storytelling. If the developers can flesh out this aspect of the world, it could elevate the entire experience. Right now, though, it feels like an intriguing concept that's only partially realized. Functional but unremarkable. Combat in New Arcline adopts a turn-based system that's easy to pick up but lacks depth. It's straightforward: block, attack, and, if you're a magic user, cast spells or use scrolls. While this simplicity makes the system accessible, it also makes battles feel repetitive over time. Without more variety or strategic options, combat risks becoming a chore rather than a highlight. The game's central conflict between magic and technology presents a huge opportunity for innovation in combat mechanics, but it's not fully explored here. Environmental interactions, class-specific abilities, or synergies between party members could add much-needed complexity. Right now, the system feels like a foundation waiting to be built upon. There's also no skill check integration in combat, which limits its potential for unpredictability. Instead, skill checks are reserved for exploration and dialogue. While these moments are engaging, the lack of dynamic mechanics during battles makes encounters feel less rewarding. For a game that leans so heavily on its themes, combat feels disconnected from the narrative and world building. That said, the simplicity might appeal to players who prefer more streamlined systems. For me, it wasn't enough to keep encounters fresh or exciting. A more robust system that incorporates the game's unique setting would go a long way in making battles memorable. Until then, it's functional but far from groundbreaking. Choices that shape the world. One of New Arcline's strongest features is its choice and consequence system. Every decision you make feels like it has weight, from small moments like helping a dwarf land, an acting gig to larger choices that affect societal attitudes toward magic users. These decisions create a sense of investment in the story, encouraging experimentation and replayability. However, not all choices land with the same impact. Some outcomes feel surface level, altering dialogue without leaving a lasting impression on the world or story. For example, while I enjoyed seeing the displaced actor losing their role to a dwarf I helped, it didn't feel like a major ripple in the narrative. The system has the potential to do so much more if the developers lean into it. One standout moment involved influencing the city's stance on magic. This choice carried significant weight, hinting at larger consequences for the story and the world. Moments like these show the system's potential and highlight how engaging the game can be when it fully commits to its mechanics. I just wish these impactful decisions were more consistent. The framework for a robust choice system is already in place, and when it works, it shines. With more polish and attention to detail, this feature could become a defining aspect of the game. For now, it's one of the better parts of New Arcline, even if it's not yet fully realized. Technical hiccups and room for improvement. As with many early access titles, New Arcline struggles with technical issues. Crashes were frequent, even on the lowest settings, and often occurred at the same points, making progression frustrating. For a game with such strong visual design, it's disappointing that these performance problems overshadow the experience. When the game runs smoothly, the visuals are striking. The blend of industrial and magical aesthetics creates a unique and memorable world. While these issues aren't game-breaking on their own, they add up, making the game feel unpolished. The characters also feel underdeveloped, which affects the narrative's emotional impact. NPCs often lack the depth or nuance needed to make them truly memorable. Many of them feel like tools to advance the plot, rather than fully realized. Individuals with their own motivations and flaws. More attention to character development would go a long way in making the world feel alive. Despite these issues, the potential is undeniable. If the developers can iron out the technical problems and flesh out the characters and world, New Arcline could become something special. For now, it's a promising game that's still rough around the edges, waiting to reach its full potential. Thank you so much for watching this video. When the game runs smoothly, the visuals are striking. The blend of industrial and magical aesthetics creates a unique and memorable world. While these issues aren't game-breaking on their own, they add up, making the game feel unpolished. The characters also feel underdeveloped, which affects the narrative's emotional impact. NPCs often lack the depth or nuance needed to make them truly memorable. Many of them feel like tools to advance the plot, rather than fully realized. Individuals with their own motivations and flaws. More attention to character development would go a long way in making the world feel alive. Despite these issues, the potential is undeniable. If the developers can iron out the technical problems and flesh out the characters and world, New Arcline could become something special. For now, it's a promising game that's still rough around the edges, waiting to reach its full potential. Thank you so much for watching this video.